Good morning. Oh, I love that call and response. It's been years since I've been in a church. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Maggie Goff. I'm the Intensives Manager here at Halcyon. Welcome to the 2021 Opportunity Intensive Showcase. Let's give these folks some applause. It's our first in-person showcase since January of 2020. And as you can see, we've made some adjustments to allow for COVID, and we're so happy to have our community back in these very big and exciting walls. This program is made possible through the generosity of our partners, starting with the U.S. Department of Commerce, Economic Development Administration, whose multi-year grant has allowed us to double the number of entrepreneurs this program serves through 2023. This program first began in 2020 thanks to our earliest supporters, Capital One and the dozens of their associates who have generously donated their time and talent, and AWS, who is providing crucial technical support and defraying costs that can be insurmountable for early-stage startups like these. Bracewell has also provided pro bono legal support since this program's inception. And Seth and Goldman and Julie Farkas have been early supporters as well. We're honored that these partners saw this program's potential and continue to help us accelerate founders who are doing well by doing good in our own backyard. The Kimsey Foundation is also helping Halcyon solve a major pain point for impact-driven founders, especially those who come from historically and structurally under-resourced communities, access to capital. Through their incredible investment in the Halcyon Microloan Fund, which provides loans of up to $10,000 for for-profit companies operating or primarily serving opportunity zones. Leadership coaches and advisors have donated their time and guidance to these fellows as they've navigated yet another uncertain year. And of course, all of you, our wider community whose generosity makes Halcyon possible. Each and every one of you today is playing a part in the success of the most exciting impact-driven businesses in this region. I'm overjoyed to be here with you today and celebrate this incredible group of founders whose ventures will change the world, starting here in the DC region. We first met these entrepreneurs back in February, believe it or not, and have had the pleasure of working with them this year that has brought continued challenges through which they've demonstrated extraordinary resilience. I believe I can speak for the entire Halcyon team when I say the founders you will hear from today have been a source of hope and inspiration. As we begin to rebuild, their impact-driven businesses are ensuring a future of a more just and equitable region, economy, and country. Please join me in welcoming Soraya Bagheri, co-founder of Electo Analytics, to the stage.
All right, so my name is Soraya Bagheri, COO and co-founder of Electo Analytics. I'd like to introduce you to Sam. Sam is the member of a public policy team of an influential climate action organization. Her team works on innovative projects in the clean water space, but lacks the tools and access to data that would make her team's work more efficient. Now, we've built a solution for Sam. We've built a public affairs software specifically designed for teams. Now, teams like Sam can use our software to map, track, and influence policy, all in a collaborative and organized workspace. Sam's team can use our legislative and regulatory tracker to track legislation like the Local Water Protection Act and other regulations. Sam's team can use our expansive directory at the federal, state, and local level to build relationships with staffers and individuals on the Hill and others at the local level. And Sam's team can use our AI-powered monitors and trackers to monitor legislation and regulations using simple search terms and being notified anytime something comes up that's of interest to their team. Now, you may be wondering, why would Sam's team need a platform like ours? Can't they just find this information online? Well, if Sam didn't have access to platforms like ours, her team would spend at least 100 hours per month trying to find this information by going on thousands of landing pages online and trying to find information which really only exists in hard copy format. We found that using our platform, Sam's team can work 30 times faster. That's right, 30 times faster. We've specifically designed Electo for normal company executives to carry out professional lobbying. democratizing a $400 billion industry, an industry that is growing at a growth rate of 15% and is on track to reach $1 trillion by 2025. So we're a B2B SaaS platform with solid projections over the next few years. We've met all our milestones to date. So we've raised $1 million in seed funding from institutional investors. We've built our world-class software in record time, and now that software is available as of October, and we've started onboarding our first wave of clients. We're on track to exceed our $1.8 million revenue projection by this time next year. So these are a few of our competitors. The way that we differentiate ourselves is our ease of use, our user experience, and that we've specifically built Electo Analytics for teams like Sam's. Now, my co-founder and CEO, Naeem Khanjani, has an MBA, is an experienced consultant, and has experience working at DC-based think tanks. I'm a lawyer with 6 years of experience in international arbitration and government affairs. Here are brilliant advisors who are industry leaders in policy and business. And this year has been incredible. It started off with our partnership with AWS. We're a part of their inaugural GovTechStart program. We were named one of 21 startups to watch by the Washington Business Journal and one of the 25 tech innovators and disruptors by Washington Life magazine. And just a couple of weeks ago, we won DC Startup Week's Growth Stage Pitch Competition, just to name a few. So we'd love for you to stay in touch with us. Thank you. We'd love for you to stay in touch with us. Our next round is a Series A in Q3 of 2022, and we'd also love for you to stay in touch. If you know anyone in the public policy space that you think would be interested in the work that we're doing, please reach out to us at our stand at the back. Because with Electo Analytics, policy teams can work faster and reach higher. Thank you. I'd now like to introduce Lakeisha from Millenicare. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Lakeisha Henry, co-founder and co-CEO of Millenicare, and we are modernizing affordable childcare for the new millennium. I would like to introduce you to Sophie. As a single mom to 2 beautiful children, Sophie spends on average 34% of her income on childcare. The childcare industry in the United States is fractured, and the demand for care, for innovation in the industry is obvious, especially for working moms like Sophie. The global pandemic has devastated the lives of many working women, particularly women of color. We are in the women's recession. Between childcare disruptions, school closures, remote work, women are struggling now more than ever, and they're being forced to choose between work and family. We call it Sophie's new choice. As a woman, an aunt, and a godmother, I have seen how the global pandemic has made an already difficult problem seemingly overwhelming. Women like Sophie deserve affordable childcare options, which is why we created Millenicare. Millenicare was designed with working women and families in mind. Millenicare allows families to pay a monthly fee to access quality and affordable childcare services. Our goal is to reduce the cost to no more than 7% of the family's annual income. We are aligned with the government to reduce the cost of childcare from $1,600 or more per month to $400 or less per month. That is a 75% decrease. Our target market includes working women and all kinds of modern and traditional families who struggle with this issue, as well as companies with fringe benefits. How will we make money? We will generate revenue from 4 streams. Our customer will pay a low monthly fee to access our services, which is offset by support from partnerships with non-governmental organizations. We are also in line with the federal and DC state government to keep the rates of childcare low. Our market opportunity is substantial. The childcare industry in the United States is valued at roughly $54 billion. However, we will focus on our immediate community and use DC as a model for the nation. The DC market is valued at roughly $210 million. We have made a lot of progress on our roadmap, bringing us to the development of our app prototype. Next year, we will develop version 1 of our app, and we will also work towards our public launch in the second quarter. In quarters 3 and 4 of 2022, we will secure government contracts, refine our digital marketing strategy, and scale to 5,000 plus families, all on our way to making childcare affordable for everyone. Our team collectively has over 40 years of experience, and we are ready to lead with data-driven expertise. We are asking you to join our $100,000 angel round. Let us join together to make Sophie's new solution easy and affordable for families everywhere. Thank you so much for your time and your attention, and my co-founder and I are ready to speak with you and answer any questions you may have. And now, I'd like to introduce you to the co-founders of Deviant, Micah and Montel.
Hello everyone, my name is Micah, and today I'm here to talk to you about an amazing mission-driven organization called Deviant. Within it, our co-founder Montel and myself are unpacking the prison of shame for Black and brown queer people. You see, on June 19th of this year, it was the first time that Black folks all around this country were able to celebrate our own historical emancipation during Juneteenth. Celebrated for the first time in this country as a nationally recognized federal holiday. But on June 1st of this very same year, I asked my own father to wish me a happy gay pride, and yet and still, I was denied. And that, folks, is a sad reality facing so many people in our community. Just as we watch the rest of our country progress, we're actually parts of ourselves at home. You see, we exist at the intersection of multiple marginalized identities. We are not one or the other. We are all of these things. So when we leave parts of ourselves behind, we're also denying who we are, who we love, and what we really want. What that causes is an incredible burden called shame that we internalize and take with us everywhere we go and with everything that we do. That, coupled with the lack of representation, historical oppression, and very real structural violence, results in what healthcare professionals call risky behaviors that we participate in our community. As a result of that, the CDC cites that half of all Black men who have sex with men and a quarter of all Latinx men who have sex with men will contract HIV in their lifetime. We're also twice as likely in our community to use and abuse illicit substances as a means of trying to escape our harsh realities. But there is hope. Studies at the University of Columbia have proven that introducing information and resources to any reality can change the outcome and change the narrative, and that is precisely what we're doing at Deviant. We are embracing who we are and leaning into our realities with information and resources, knowing that we can change the outcome of our own communities. We believe that with our 3 core values weaved throughout our ecosystem, those being body positivity, sex positivity, and drug safety, we can uplift our community to a reality of self-determined futures that look like self-love and self-care, no longer risky behaviors. We're bringing the vital information and resources and health resources right where they're least expected but most needed.
So how do we make money? The Deviant ecosystem begins with our Deviant events. At our events, we empower our guests to show up as their authentic selves. While there, our guests are met with health and wellness resources from our local partners. So STI testing, mental health services, and harm reduction drug resources are all offered on site. Currently, we host about 900 guests across 3 cities monthly. Adding DC and New York in May and August, we've seen $500,000 in sales in 2021. Because we understand that everyone may not be ready to party in person, we've created the Keep It 100 card game. This allows our guests to bring Deviant home and create their own safe spaces. We've also added Deviant TV to our ecosystem, an educational and entertaining broadcast focused on subjects surrounding our reality. Because of its popularity and impact, we've just wrapped up season 2, where our partners over at Beeve Healthcare sponsored with a $300,000 grant. Now let me let you in on the secret to why our ecosystem is so successful. Because it focuses on making sure that our community feels seen, safe, and celebrated. So now is the time for us to weave our already profitable and impactful ecosystem together via the Deviant mobile app. With this app, we'll be able to maintain constant contact with our audience, amplify ticket sales, and increase the reach of our content. In 2022, we plan to expand to 3 new cities, projecting $1.3 million in events alone. This has nothing to do with ads on our app or even commercials on our Deviant broadcast. With the app, we'll be able to knock this projection out of the water. The Deviant team is led by 2 MBAs between Micah and myself. We have specialized degrees in sexuality and gender. We have 14 years of experience in managerial staffing. And we have a lifetime of learning how to undo what we were taught to not love to make shame a prison of the past.
Ladies and gentlemen, today our ask is a small $900,000 in comparison to the 1.3 that we're projected to make next year. This is going to allow us to do our work full time as well as we build out this app to make it more effective and impactful and reaching, a larger part of our community. We want to ask that if you are truly an ally in this movement with us, that you would consider your investment in speaking to us after this presentation. We understand that your time and attention today is more than most in our community will ever get, as we do exist in the margins of society. So we thank you for your eyes and ears and look forward to speaking to you more. Ladies and gentlemen, the CEO and founder of PAL, Mr. Brent.
Hi, everyone. Good? Cool. Hello, everyone. My name is Brent, CEO of PAL, or we are improving early intervention outcomes for autistic kiddos and their families. And I would like to introduce you to Sherry and their son, Alec. Alec is autistic, and like every autistic family, Sherry employs caregivers and home exercise programming in order to implement early intervention, which is the type of therapy necessary for Alec's success. The issue is, it's time-consuming finding qualified caregivers, difficult to manage home exercise plans, and worst of all, costly not only mentally, but also financially to do this effectively. The result is an 80% unemployment rate amongst the autistic adult population, or $250 billion for the total cost of care. Autism families deserve better. They deserve PAL. PAL simplifies how families find qualified caregivers and coordinate care in order to help autistic children become more independent autistic adults. Parents like Sherry can go on the PAL app and find qualified caregivers who become part of a manageable care team of therapists, teachers, and other family members. PAL then handles all care coordination, from what exercises need to be performed as well as appointments, and through a wearable technology, provide objective insights on Alec's progress so the entire care team knows what is happening at any given moment. And we've made enormous progress. Currently, we're working with 9 autism therapy clinics who are actively introducing the PAL platform as a form of care coordination. That's access to 900 families. And our product is built on a HIPAA-compliant database, meaning we have no other FDA regulatory barriers in order to implement our impact mission-driven focus for the 1.5 million families. And for those families, it's only $1 a day. And if they're on Medicaid, it's reimbursable. And we have patents and trademarks secured, have generated $10,000 in their Care Connection application, secured $250,000 in SBIR grants, and have letters of intent worth $300,000 from autism therapy clinics and their families, as well as have participated in top accelerator programs and partnerships with UPenn and Northwestern Medicine. When we look at the competitive landscape, there's a lot of challenges with other connected care applications where there's workflow leakages, essentially meaning when families find a caregiver, there's no longer incentive for them to remain on the platforms. Unlike PAL, that continues to provide value through care coordination. And we are a team of scientists, entrepreneurs, and family members with over 50 years of combined expertise in autism and digital health products. And I'm here today to ask one question from you. We're in the midst of a $500,000 raise, which we secured half of, in order to further expand on our corporate infrastructure, research and development efforts, and marketing. Or you can assist us on our WeFunder campaign at getpalbud.com/fund. So I would like to ask you, would you like to help autistic individuals and families like my brother Alec and mother Sherry? And together, if you do, we can build a brighter future for all autistics and be pals. Thank you. And I would like to introduce you, Alec, the CEO of Transfoam. Thank you.
Thank you. My name is Alec Brewer, and I'm one of the co-founders and the CEO of Transfoam. And at Transfoam, we're using synthetic biology to tackle plastic pollution at the beginning and end of the product life cycle. I'd be very jealous of anybody in the room today who hasn't seen either an image or a landscape like this while on vacation. But what many of you might not be familiar with is the fact that studies suggest that humans are consuming upwards of a credit card's worth of plastic each and every week. And this is a result of both direct consumption as well as the creation of microplastic pollution that is constantly fragmenting off of the petroplastics that we're using all around us. And recycling isn't going to solve this issue, which is why at Transfoam, we're using synthetic biology to create a beginning and end-of-life solution to plastic pollution. By combining the genetic capabilities of 3 microorganisms, we are able to turn plastic waste into a fully biodegradable alternative called PHB. It all starts with a treated waste plastic, which is the feedstock we feed into our bioprocess. Initially, we'll be purchasing this from plastic recyclers, but eventually we will be participating in the collection and remediation of plastic waste. The plastic waste will be fed into our bioprocess, which in a single step is able to convert it into PHB. And a little bit more about the material itself. PHB is 100% biodegradable and bio-based while having properties just like the petroplastics we're using all around us. And as I mentioned before, as a bio-based and biocompatible molecule, PHB is not capable of producing the microplastics which are causing us harm through inhalation and through ingestion. So our PHB will be turned into a number of products as it has petroplastic-like properties, but we will specifically be targeting food service applications to reduce the effect of the microplastics that we are consuming from cups and plates and other utensils and the like around us. And we will implement our solution in the existing plastic value chain. In doing so, we are opening ourselves up to a several $100 billion market opportunity as petroplastics are used in nearly every consumer product we find around us. I mentioned that we'll be implementing our solution in the existing value chain, locating ourselves downstream of a plastic recycler and selling our material to fabricators and molders of single and multi-use consumer products. So far, we have tested and completed our proof of concept, demonstrating our ability to convert styrene into PHB, and we've begun optimizing our genetic device for commercialization in late 2022 or early 2023. We filed a patent to protect our core technology and have a robust IP strategy to follow on from our core technology. And we've also interacted heavily with industry, holding a number of interviews and aligning some research and development partnerships, along with securing over $195,000 in non-dilutive funding and securing letters of intent totaling over $4 million in intended sales. We most recently filed our SBIR Phase 2 application. As I mentioned already, we'll use those funds to go ahead and begin scaling up and commercializing our process with the intent of making our first sale by the beginning of 2023. We're extremely passionate about solving the plastic problem, and our team is comprised of scientists and entrepreneurs with complementary skill sets that will help us take Transfoam from the benchtop to the market. But we can't do it, we wouldn't be doing this alone. We've gotten an immense amount of support from the professors we've been very fortunate to work alongside, as well as our future collaborators at the National Renewable Energies Lab and Virginia Tech University. We've also gotten an immense amount of support from all of these organizations, including Halcyon, and thank everyone who came out to support today. I apologize for the outdated logo, but you did never send me the new one. Again, we really appreciate everybody's support here today. And we are currently looking primarily at non-dilutive sources of funding, though we are opening up for around sometime mid-next year. But in addition to funding, we also really appreciate your connections and are constantly learning from experts in the field and are also looking for both research and commercial partnerships in the next several months. So again, thank you all for the support. Here's my contact information, and here you are, Nicole.
And to think, I had so many nice things to say about you. Thank you so much, Alec. I will say, I think about this venture every time I pull out my credit card and use it. I think about those microplastics, so thank you for taking care of all of those. My name is Nicole Weissman. I am Halcyon's Director of Communications, and I'm going to guide us through a little bit of a transition right now. A few of our fellows were not able to be here with us in person, so they submitted video pitches. We have just one this morning. If you would like to be connected with fellows who are not here in person, obviously they won't be around the rim of the room, flag down me or any other Halcyon team member. We can facilitate that connection for you. And in the meanwhile, please welcome by video, Mary Blackford from Market 7.
So, do you all realize that we have a culture of food? And I don't mean the culture like what you eat or what you put in your food, but how we actually go and shop for food. I remember when I was in college and we went to the grocery store with a few friends, and I saw them actually go to the shelf and put their food directly in their basket. And then they went to the milk refrigerator and got milk and picked the first one and put it in their basket. They didn't check any expiration dates. Now, when I go shopping, I have to go check expiration dates in my ward. Do you? Hi, my name is Mary Blackford, and I'm the founder of Market 7. Market 7 is a community marketplace that features Black-owned businesses for the purpose of alleviating food deserts in Washington, D.C. I started Market 7 about 4 years ago after coming home and becoming a vegetarian. And I quickly realized that we don't have access to fresh and sustainable foods in our grocery stores. In fact, I found myself going all the way to the other side of the city just to get access to fresh and affordable and sustainable food. And so after a while, I started to ask around, how can we get better grocery stores in our ward? And when I went around to the community stakeholders, government officials, they said, you know what, Mary, that is just not going to happen because the area median income in your ward is far too low. And I didn't think that that was a great enough answer. In fact, we have something in our community called a food apartheid. And this actually describes a long history of discriminatory practices against communities of color, particularly Black communities, where you see a large disenfranchisement of economic opportunities to sustain healthy retail that makes the community healthy as well. We did a community survey and we found that, one, we have a high concentration of fast food in our ward. We only have 3 grocery stores in Ward 7 and Ward 8. And despite the fact that 90% of the people here actually want fresh and sustainable foods, vegetables, and fruits in their ward, we don't have it. In fact, 67% of people are actually going into Ward 6 to get some or all of their grocery needs for the month, and another 24% of Ward 7 residents are going into Maryland to get some or all of their grocery needs for the month. So, after several years of doing community pop-ups where we provide fresh produce and lifestyle essentials, we now are developing a 7,000 square foot food hall right here in Ward 7. This food hall is like no other. We are doing an integrative approach using the access to fresh food as a catalyst, and as well as utilizing the help of 8 brand new food businesses that will be in our ward. These wards will be a different take on food businesses like you've never seen before in Washington, D.C. We're providing training for those entrepreneurs as well as for the workforce that is coming into our community. Right now, we are fundraising to raise $500,000 for our work. $300,000 of that is going into construction costs, and another $200,000 is going into programming. Our community partners include Whole Foods, who is doing a great job with helping us get more Black-owned businesses on shelves, and partners like Google that are helping us with training opportunities for small businesses in our ward. Thank you so much for listening to my presentation. Please contact us at info@market7dc.com for more information, and I can take questions from you at any time. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for your attention. And now we're going to shift back to our pitches in person. As a communications person, this one is near and dear to my heart, a heavy news reader, local and otherwise. Please welcome Kevon Painter, founder of Bloc by Bloc News.
In 2020, we surveyed nearly 300 Maryland residents, and 49% told us it's hard to find local news, while not even 1% found it hard to find national news. As a result, millions of Americans who rely on local news, this critical community service to stay informed and staying connected, are without. And how this shows up are missed opportunities to understand local stories, to get involved in reporting, and to get engaged in your backyard. In Flint, Michigan, complaints about foul-smelling, discolored, and off-tasting water in residents' homes were chronically ignored and overlooked by government officials. That's when, in partnership with local reporters, environmental scientists, and documentary filmmakers in Michigan, residents equipped with water testing kits and media cameras shined a light on the unsafe drinking water. So it's clear, the local news has a role to play in partnership with the community to keep us informed, civically active, safe, and connected. And when community members know what's going on locally, they can get involved in the reporting that changes their local reality. My name is Kevon Painter. I'm the founder of Bloc by Bloc News, a media cooperative and civic engagement organization aggregating news to help citizens tap into what matters most locally. For 20 years, we heard the story, local news is dying. Contrary to this popular opinion, local news is not dying. Rather, the problem is discoverability and gaps in certain locations. To solve this, we are building channels to help residents discover local news. Bloc by Bloc is also lifting the sense of community. We're helping news publishers, small and large, and all across the state of Maryland by giving them an additional place to publish their work. As a media cooperative, we include residents in the governance decisions and in the profits, as well as residents. We're helping residents be part of the news process. We train them as citizen journalists. We're hiring more reporters to do the journalism, and we're filling in the gaps in the coverage. By doing so, we are strengthening the information ecosystem and bringing water to news deserts. So right now, our 50-state strategy begins in Maryland, where we're keeping residents informed locally. We've achieved incredible growth in Baltimore, and in 2022, we plan to expand all throughout the state of Maryland. Our first iteration, a Baltimore weekly newsletter, added nearly 2,000 subscribers last fall. We're seeing recurring visitor traffic to our website and our social media pages. Next, we're raising $350,000 to develop and launch our mobile app, our hyperlocal news aggregator. Once again, our team consists of me, I'm the CEO. I've driven through every county in Maryland. Christina Sturdivant-Sani is our editorial director. She's a Maryland coffee shop connoisseur. Between us, we have 17 years of professional journalism experience and 4 years in technology management. Also a part of our team are the citizens who sign up to get involved. Our work has received recognition in business magazines across the United Kingdom, United States, and Canada. We've won partnership support from several funders who are dedicated to supporting mission-driven technology. We project financial stability through diversifying our revenue streams across advertising, selling event tickets, election and opinion polling, and of course, the readers who join the membership. So join Bloc by Bloc News. We are here to ignite the renaissance of local news Invest in the future of news with us. Thank you. And next, I'm going to introduce Rhea from Lavii.
Good morning. All right, so we're gonna have some fun. All right, you guys ready? All right, so have you ever been frustrated with picking up food from a restaurant? Raise a hand. All right. Or were you forced to pick up your food from a bookshelf or an open table like this? Okay, you understand my frustration. And then lastly, have you had to sort through random bags in the lobby of your office or residential building to find your delivery order? Unfortunately, just like you, I've experienced that issue. So I decided that it was time to find a solution, but not any solution. A solution that can improve the food pickup and delivery process for office buildings, apartment complex, and restaurants. So I decided to go to work. I built this first initial prototype in just 2 weeks, and that morphed into this. Introducing the patent-pending Smart Food Locker. So how does it work? You place your order online, and once you arrive at the restaurant, you scan a QR code at an insulated Smart Food Locker. The door pops open, and you retrieve your food and go. Or imagine ordering delivery from a third-party app and picking up your food from a Smart Food Locker in the lobby of your office or residential building. And this can all be done in 10 seconds or less. So the world is changing, and due to the pandemic, safety and security have become a top priority. And as a result, smart lockers are evolving to make that food pickup process more efficient and more safe. Our super flexible solution has a potential SOM of $289 million across the restaurant and commercial real estate industry. Since 2014, digital ordering and delivery has grown 300% faster. 59% of millennials prefer takeout or delivery, and 75% of customers prefer order for pickup to skip a long line. So why us? What sets us apart from our competition is the fact that our solution is super flexible across various industries, starts at an affordable rate of $9 per day, and it allows us to not charge the customers picking up the food from the actual restaurant. So we currently have 2 offerings. We offer Lavii Premier and Lavii Access. Lavii Premier is for restaurants and ghost kitchens, and Lavii Access is for office buildings and apartment complexes. So the future of Lavii will consist of various off-premise solutions, such as curbside pickup, kiosk ordering, and many other solutions. I'm Rhea, the founder and CEO of Lavii, and our team of software, network, and hardware engineers allows us to build a super simple, flexible solution to offer to our customers. Since we launched in December of 2020, we processed 25,000 orders through our locker system, and we've expanded to 9 customers within DC, Maryland, Virginia, Texas, Indiana, and we just secured our first international customer in Canada. Since we started the business, we bootstrapped the business and put in $60,000 of our own money. We're seeking $1.5 million to continue to grow and scale our business and continue to offer a food delivery pickup process for customers around the world. Thank you for your time, and please help join me expand the pickup experience for customers here and now. Thank you.
All right, all right. Is everybody feeling good after lunch? I think y'all can give me a little bit more energy than that. We gotta wake up, we gotta wake up. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right. Well, we are Team Self-Center. My name is Azel Collier. I'm one of the founders of the team, and I am super, super excited to introduce you all to... Oh, no, I don't need it yet. I don't need it, but it's all good. I want to introduce you all to my partner, Camille Chrysostom, to introduce you all to our app.
Thank you. Awesome. Hello, everybody. Thank you for coming out today. Okay. Good afternoon, Halcyon. My name is Camille Chrysostom, and I am one of the co-founders of Self-Center, the AI smart scheduler that balances your life. And my schedule type is the free spirit. Now, I know you don't know what a self-center schedule is yet or why mine matters, but I promise by the time I'm done here today, not only will it make sense, but you'll want to know what yours is too. Now, I may not know many of you personally, but if statistics about the average American are correct, I certainly know a lot more about you than you realize. For example, I know that on average, you've tried roughly 13 different methods of better managing your schedule to make time for the things that you enjoy. However, in spite of those efforts, I know that 77% of you have still felt so stressed that it has impacted your physical health. And what's worse, as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic, 89% of you are likely to be experiencing burnout, anxiety, or even depression. Now, I know these statistics are alarming, and especially because there are so many products on the market today attempting to combat this very problem. But what I can tell you from experience is that these solutions don't work because the companies that created them don't understand how you work. These companies, Self-Center's competitors, don't approach your life holistically, which is why you still feel out of balance no matter how many of their products you try. And they don't do the work of scheduling for you, leaving you with just one more item on your to-do list. My co-founder, Azel Collier, and I have worked for over a decade combined building digital products as consultants, so we know firsthand that enterprise companies often have so many competing priorities that you, the user, and your experience often come last. We can say with confidence that the existing solutions on the market are not doing all that they can to make your life easier. We know that AI and machine learning, when put directly into the hands of consumers, can produce amazing results. And that's exactly why we've leveraged these technologies to build Self-Center. Our flagship product, the Self-Center app, is an automated scheduling assistant that, unlike competitors, uses AI to balance all the parts of your life, whether personal, professional, or anything in between. It works by taking into account all of the things that you have to do and finding the remaining available time for all of the things that you want to do. We call these obligations time blocks and these desired activities moments. These two inputs, processed by our proprietary algorithm, are what makes Self-Center Schedule unique to you. But what truly sets Self-Center apart are 16 unique schedules assigned to you based on your answers to a short quiz. Backed by motivational psychology and designed by our team, each schedule is coded with a set of rules for the algorithm to follow so that it can schedule your day in a way that works best for you. Whether you're a morning person or an evening person, or if you like long or short breaks throughout the day, there is a Self-Center schedule for everyone. So you might be the master of one, the jack of all, the early bird, or even the free spirit, like me. Our target audience, a group of almost 13 million, is made up of people just like you, in search of smart, adaptive products that can help you optimize your life to start feeling more fulfilled. This room is full of working-age educated professionals who are accustomed to using digital technologies in their daily lives and are invested in committing to their well-being. Our go-to-market strategy specifically focuses on those within this audience who are early career professionals, as we hypothesize we can gain the most traction by starting here first. Now, we've kept our price point affordable. At only $7 a month for a subscription, we want Self-Center technology to be available to anyone who wants it, but we don't want you to have to pay for it yourselves. Our tech has such strong B2B potential that we plan to license our softwares to employers who will provide to their workforce as a health and wellness benefit. We plan to leverage our foothold with early career professionals to get Self-Center into their workplaces as soon as possible. Now, within the next year, we plan to release a private beta of our app while we survey our go-to-market audience to ensure that we can gain traction with this group. Once validated, we will begin marketing to this audience leading up to our official App Store launch in April. Following this, we will continue training the algorithm to make it even smarter, adding additional features such as behavioral predictions, intuitive language processing, and even integrations with third-party apps such as calendars and fitness trackers. But Self-Center won't just live on your phone. We plan to expand the AI into an ecosystem of connected devices, suites of integrated products, and even physical spaces so that you can self-center anywhere. Now, we've worked so hard to define this vision for Self-Center, but what we need now is you. For our next round of investments, we're seeking roughly $640,000, the majority of which will go towards ensuring that we can work on developing the app full-time, which we are designing, programming, and testing ourselves. The remainder will go towards funding our marketing events, business operations tools, brand enhancements, and the protection of our intellectual property. But we know that fundraising will only get us so far, and that's why our plan is to achieve profitability by generating revenue as quickly as possible. By reaching an audience of only 7,600 people a month, we'll be able to generate enough revenue to cover our annual expenses, and any revenue beyond this will go towards continuing to grow our business and creating returns for our shareholders. This was not a pitch. This was your first self-center experience, your introduction to the way life could be instead of how it's had to be. And if you join us on this journey, that life can be yours as well. Thank you. And I'm proud to introduce to the stage next, Stacy Stube of BROMO.
Hello, I am Stacy Stube, founder of BROMO, Baltimore's fashion education incubator, where we're preserving heritage skills for today's makers. Once upon a time, Baltimore was home to America's garment factories and leading experts in fashion's finest skill sets, from industrial sewing techniques to skills like embroidery and fine beadwork. But by the 1970s, as home economics disappeared from school curriculums and the industry leapt into fast off-the-rack fashion, we began to lose these fine quality skills. Baltimore's factories shut their doors. Fashion colleges don't teach these heritage skills anymore, and those who know are dying out. And yet we have seen a growing resurgence of interest in making, DIY, sewing, and countless people discovering the joy of creating. Yet none of these sources offer training in high-level industrial sewing skills. Imagine pursuing your passion, but never graduating beyond a 101 level classes. That's why I created BROMO, a fashion education incubator where we host intensive classes for all makers, from those just starting out to industry professionals. Our classes are taught by some of the world's greatest living craftspeople, including guest instructors from top ateliers like Versace. Our students select from a fashion menu of courses ranging from $150 and $250 per one-day intensive class. You'll learn key skill sets from beginner sewing to advanced industry techniques in only a few hours. Most importantly, we offer fashion business courses where we teach fashion entrepreneur essentials to local founders of tomorrow, covering wholesale training and overall business basics. We also offer one-on-one consults and open studio time to experiment with our industrial and heritage sewing equipment. We have incubated a lot of wonderful local entrepreneurs creating products right here in Baltimore. We also offer small batch manufacturing to develop professional quality prototypes. We've advised many diverse startups whose products are sold at local and national retailers like REI. As you can see, BROMO uplifts makers, artists, local entrepreneurs, and people just like you. For the future of BROMO, we want to bring the Makerspace to you with fashion in a box. Subscribers will receive a beautifully curated box with all the instructions and pre-cut pieces required to create and sew their own chic fashion at home. Boxes will retail at $150. We've truly come a long way. BROMO began with a pilot in 2019 at the famous BROMO Seltzer building. Before running 2 additional programs, our partners. We needed a permanent space, so in January of 2021, I ran over 200 miles to secure funding for our current facilities. We launched publicly in March of this year. Next year, we will see the fashion in a box. With regard to revenue, our previous small spaces limited our capacity for students, averaging 17 per month. With our new expanded space, we have capacity for 50. That brings us to $120,000 in projected revenue just for our in-class classes in 2022. Again, my name is Stacy Stube. I'm the founder and fashion president. I've brought together a passionate team of industry veterans and bright new talent with a combined experience of over a century in fashion. Our ask is a $100,000 investment. In addition, we're also looking for contacts and connections with subscription box and e-learning companies. We're eager to learn because we are deeply passionate about preserving heritage skills to uplift makers of tomorrow. We hope you'll come and join us. We've saved you a seat in the Makerspace at BROMO. Thank you very much. Next up, I'm very happy to introduce Rahama from Yeleen Beauty Makerspace.
While that is loading. Hi, everyone. My name is Rahma Wright, and I am the founder of the Yeleen Beauty Makerspace. As you can see, this is a bar of soap. This soap was handmade using pure natural ingredients. The supply chain that was used to make this soap was ethical, creating living wage jobs, and it was sustainably produced in terms of the packaging. Now, I wish I could say that every single product in the beauty industry was made in this way, but the truth is, the beauty industry is not working for us. It's not working for us because of toxic chemicals used in production. It's not working for the environment because of 120 billion pieces of plastic used annually. And it's not working for indigenous suppliers of natural ingredients who are trapped and underpaid and mistreated. So what I wanted to do was create an opportunity for indie manufacturers. Indie manufacturers are the solution, because when you make things in an environment where you care about how a product is made, you can change an entire industry. But the reality is, indie makers need help. We don't have access to manufacturing facilities. Many of us face high startup costs, and we don't get the support that we need to launch and grow our businesses. So I started the Makerspace for indie entrepreneurs to do one very specific thing: give access to a community and give access to a facility that will provide indie manufacturers the ability to make and grow their businesses. Now, how do I know all of this? Well, I'm an indie beauty manufacturer. I started a company after serving in the Peace Corps called Yeleen. And what my company does is we create living wage jobs by connecting local products made in West Africa to the US marketplace. And let me be honest, I had no business starting this business. I didn't know the first thing about launching a beauty business. And I used Google as a way to scale and grow my business. And over the years, I've been able to take this idea I started in a small rural village, and we've launched it in Whole Foods, MGM Resorts, and just this past year, we launched with Macy's. And because of that, I know that there is the opportunity to really connect the dots between local community members, care about how a product is made, and who is behind and makes that product. The market opportunity is huge. Just in the next couple of years, the natural organic personal care industry is expected to grow to $25 billion. There's enough room for all of us. When I pitched this idea before, people have said to me, well, why would you create other companies like yourself? Well, this is what I believe. I believe when we work together, we're stronger. That's one of the things Halcyon has taught us. We can grow together. Instead of being competitive, we can be collaborators. The business model is simple. It's going to be membership driven. And we're going to generate our revenue primarily through membership fees, about 50% of that revenue. But then the other 50% is going to be broken down into selling products in our retail store. And we'll also do events and trainings. It's a pre-revenue business. And so the goal is within 18 months, we'll break even. By year 2, we'll generate $3 million in revenue. And ultimately, we will help 200 makers generate at least $150,000 in annual revenue. That means about $30 million in local tax revenue. Because when you give people the tools to make products, that also means you're able to build communities and make our local community a much stronger place. What have I done so far? Well, I'm really happy to share that I've raised over $1 million to launch the Beauty Makerspace. I just recently signed a lease on a 3,000 square foot facility in Ward 7, and just last week, I brought on an architect, and over the next couple of weeks, we'll be bringing on a construction team. Over the course of this year, it's going to be about putting in place our management team and launching our first cohort of members. When we make sure that the model is working correctly, the goal will be to replicate this model in other markets. My ask. The Makerspace is an incredible opportunity for corporations who have made commitments to supporting Black-owned businesses and women-owned businesses. I think we're in an incredible moment in time where companies are waking up and seeing that there's value in diversifying their supply chains. So one of the things I would like this community to support me on is introducing me and connecting me to corporate partners. Because using our makerspace and investing our makerspace will give them the opportunity to achieve their diversity goals and help level the playing field, one beauty product at a time. Thank you. So I would like to introduce Harish Zenaviv.
We make companies inclusive for employees of all kinds, using the artwork of people with autism. I am Harish Bikmal, co-founder and CEO of Zenaviv. We were told our son Himal would live in an institution by 5. We did not have any hope. Despite his severe autism, Himal learned to paint. Recognition of his art boosted his self-esteem and gave us a ray of hope for his future. We started Zenaviv to bring similar transformation to thousands and thousands of others like Himal. Today, 85% of people on the autism spectrum are unemployed in the US, and there are over 6 million of them in the US alone. Think of the opportunity, the talent that is waiting to be tapped. Most corporations have diversity initiatives as a priority. However, 4%, only 4% of them work on disability inclusion. The disabled feel left out, the disabled employees especially, and are isolated. As a result, barriers develop that prevent employees from working together effectively, and that stifles the growth of inclusive culture in these organizations. Our art grabs the attention of the employees and educates them at a subconscious level about the varying challenges as well as the strengths and abilities of the disabled. This triggers deeper than surface level conversations about inclusion in the corporations among the employees. As a result, employees become more receptive and develop value, respect, and support for people of all kinds, all colors, from all backgrounds, promoting inclusion. We combine the art with artist stories and technologies such as augmented reality and animations that truly grab the attention through the immersive art experiences. Along with inclusion, the art visually demonstrates that the company leadership is dedicated and committed to diversity. This increases employee commitment to the company and their job performance, fostering innovation and productivity. On the other hand, our artists earn majority of the profits as income and gain recognition, promoting their self-confidence and uplifting them, and they feel a part of the community. How are we different from our competition? Ours is a new solution, is a new way of promoting inclusion in an effective and efficient manner, and this has been proven through various clients. We'll see the list in a second. We currently have two sources of revenue. One is the art sales and subscriptions and commission projects. We have thus far helped 67 clients, including companies such as Freddie Mac, Fannie Mae, Four Seasons Hotels, and 38 artists with over $220,000 in revenue. We have validated the idea through direct campaigns and referrals and plan to scale through industry partners. We plan to promote inclusion at over 500 corporations and support over 300 artists by the end of 2023. To help meet our goals, we have a capable team of business and technology experts and community curators, and we have partnered with the world's largest augmented reality platform. We ask for your help in introductions to diversity leaders and facilities executives at your organizations. This will help your companies become more inclusive of all employees and uplift many in the community. Thank you. Now, I will hand over the mic to the DC karaoke champion. Any guesses here? One and only Nicole.
It's the intermission performance none of you were expecting. Actually, it's an intermission of a different kind. Thank you so much, Harish. And if you haven't had the chance yet to go up onto the mezzanine and view some of the artworks from Zenaviv, please take the time after today's event to check those out. My name is Nicole Weissman. I'm Halcyon's Director of Communications, and I'm going to help us facilitate just a little bit of a transition now. What an unusual year it's been, and as a result, we have a handful of fellows who were not able to join us in person for their pitches. It's my pleasure to pass the mic to them virtually for a handful of video pitches, so please direct your attention by video to Fresh Food Factory Market, followed by History X, and finally, InovCares.
What would you do if you were given the terminal prognosis of cancer with 6 months to 1 year to live? Now imagine being blind, trying to find your next steps in business. That's precisely the story of my father, a blind Black farmer of rural Virginia. He was given that prognosis of 6 months to 1 year to live, yet through faith, family, and food, he surpassed that life expectancy by 18 years. My father was diagnosed when I was at the age of 10. This experience taught me that food is multi-solving. Food is both a medicine and it's economics. Coming to DC, some 10 years later, I saw that both residents and business suffered from the shortened life expectancy, 15 years shorter than those west of the Anacostia River. And this is due largely to a lack of resources. We've all heard of food deserts, where residents travel a great distance for high quality and healthy foods. Well, it's more than that here. It's both a food and an opportunity desert. This is why I started the Fresh Food Factory Market back in 2019, to become a nutritional and economic lifeline for people and businesses that have been underserved and ill-fed for decades. The Fresh Food Factory Market is the first grocer in Anacostia specializing in local, healthy, and ethnic foods. We support economic wellness as a retail incubator market. We provide extensive training focused on supporting local entrepreneurs, and the workforce. We've assisted over 43 small businesses, and we've hosted over 138 trainings and demonstrations. With my amazing team, we've fed over 8,150 residents in need. And this was all done within 500 square feet, within 30 hours weekly, and 6 days a week. In December 2020, we had a total sales of $130,000. And as of September 2021, we had sales of $160,000, which leads us to our plan for expansion. We will be expanding into Ward 7, as well as expanding our space in Ward 8 to over 3,000 square feet, operating 12 to 16 hours daily, 7 days a week. We will increase our offerings to offer alcohol, prepared foods, and kitchen space. We would like for you to invest in us. If you can invest $2.5 million to cover the startup costs associated with our expanded locations with certified kitchen and urban farming spaces, we can make sure that residents do not have to leave east of the Anacostia River seeking food nor economic refuge.
Hi, I'm Yeleen, and I want to tell you about a time when I caught the bus to U Street and discovered another world that used to be there. It was called Black Broadway, the mecca of Black excellence in African American culture before the Harlem Renaissance existed. Unfortunately, this place was wiped away after the assassination of Martin Luther King in 1968, and so did many of its stories. That's what inspired us to build History X. We're creating a historical metaverse, providing an immersive way for us to explore the past. Our platform aggregates and synthesizes our history, empowers our engine to program those characters and places of those stories, and layers them across the world that we see today. Finally, we make it easy for anyone to go back in time wherever they go, because every place has a story. You see, travelers and locals can use our own History X app to explore the cities through a historical lens. But our API also powers cross-industry applications. This includes education, location experiences, data for creating entertainment and game worlds, even informing investigative journalism, GIS mapping, and more. Marcus Garvey said, "A people without the knowledge of history is like a tree without roots." So with that in mind, our mission is to truly understand the past to make a better future. And that's what drives our social impact. We want to educate people so they can celebrate culture and restore justice. So how do we make money through this? Well, our business model has two primary revenue streams. We make money through our app and money through our API service. Users can download the app for free and explore it in their active region. Through in-app purchases, users can buy more regions to explore, as well as buy pre-routed journeys. Brands can market to our users by leveraging location-based brand placements and sponsor premium journeys. Our API service gives organizations access to our data suite, so they can enrich their products and applications. This is done via a monthly licensing fee. We offer two plans, our base price at $195 a month and our premium license for $495 a month. History X is a company that participates in three markets: data enrichment for maps that consumers and organizations already use, the edutainment subset of the edtech market, and going forward, we'll be building applications that are focused on socially conscious experiences for the metaverse. We're seeking $395K in seed funding to fully flesh out our beta platform that we have today, and we intend to use those funds to expand our backend API structure, user acquisition, and bolster our aggregation and modeling. Let's schedule an in-depth meeting after this pitch so you could join us and make history together. Thank you.
5 million women in the last decade have died of pregnancy-related complications. One of these women is my sister. InovCares connects patients seeking culturally competent physicians for quality preventative care. I would like to walk you through Matu. Meet Matu. She's a 33-year-old nurse from Ohio who's suffering from infertility. And she doesn't know it yet, but she also has hypertension. She has an OBGYN, but like so many women, she doesn't feel heard. What's more, she's petrified. As a nurse, she knows if she does become pregnant, as a woman of color in America, she's 3.5 more times likely to die than a white woman during pregnancy and childbirth. How were we able to help Matu? We connected Matu to a culturally competent doctor, Dr. Lavii, via video, who helped prescribe medications to Matu for her infertility. We sent those multi-prenatal vitamins to Matu's home. She tried it. A month after, Matu texted us, "I'm pregnant." 9 months after, Matu birthed her beautiful baby boy, John. Well, part of that birthing experience is postpartum depression. So what we did for Matu is we connected Matu, like many moms, many new moms, Matu struggled with postpartum depression and exercising regularly. She used InovCares to get mental health support, and we connected her with other new moms nearby for support and fitness buddies. The problem that we're addressing is a woman dies every 12 hours in this country from pregnancy-related complications, with 500 global deaths and a whopping $26 billion economic burden caused by preterm birth in the U.S. 60% of this complications are actually preventable. So what InovCares does is we connect patients that are looking to get connected to culturally competent doctors via video and in-app message. Our platform is very inclusive. It provides a telemedicine video and in-app message consults. It provides custom health reports for those moms, those analytics reports, and also ensure that the moms are connected to other moms that are in the area for fitness and support. Our customer base is healthcare physicians. They're able to use our platform to provide culturally competent care via video and in-app message, review patient records, process payments, and deposit their earnings directly into their own bank account. Our business model composed of a charge to the providers, and then as we scale to partners, employers, we'll charge them $120 per employee per month. The market is huge for us. We're focusing on the federally qualified health centers. So it's a $9.2 billion market, focusing on federally qualified health centers. These are the centers that I'm currently going to seek care. Traction to date is 25 healthcare providers have been on the platform, 3,500 consults have been conducted, 120K revenue has been made, and 150K investment from Jumpstart Foundry was recently signed. We have a large sales pipeline focusing on conversation with AFLAC, Blue Cross Blue Shield of MA, UT Health, and other institutions. My team is composed of myself. I came from a healthcare finance background, Love Mochurombo, Dr. Arumula, and a world-class advisory team of over 50 years experience. We encourage you to consider our investment opportunity in InovCares with a $1.1 million raise. It's really to spend and scale our sales and marketing team to drive more revenue. Again, I hope you will join us in modernizing healthcare for women of color.
Hello, everyone. My name is Kevin Smith. I'm founder and CEO of Phoenix Ventures Project. How did we get here? In 2015, I was 5 years out from incarceration when the Incarceration to Incorporation Entrepreneurship Program was introduced to the DC Council. Despite widespread support for the legislation, the mayor and the council failed to fund the measure. Phoenix Ventures Project is stepping in where the government failed its residents by not funding the legislation. I think it's safe to say that all of us have some familiarity with the problem. In 2018, the unemployment rate for returning citizens was over 40%, nearly 5 times higher than the general population and substantially higher than the worst years of the Great Depression. Now wrap your head around that. Substantially higher than the worst years of the Great Depression. How does that sit with you? Well, it doesn't sit well with me. What is Phoenix Ventures Project? Phoenix Ventures Project will provide our participants a fair and equal opportunity to succeed, an opportunity for a true living wage, and an opportunity for self-sufficiency. A 2-track model of entrepreneurship and high-tech training is our solution to the problem. The model includes college-level coursework, leadership and character development, high-tech training, mentors and coaches, and key partnership with the Federal Bureau of Prisons. The evidence is overwhelming. A college degree significantly improves one's employment prospects, and tech training helps prevent prisoners from reoffending. What distinguishes Phoenix Ventures Project from our competitors? First, we meet our incarcerated students where they are. Second, being able to concentrate on technology advances and green economies, we believe, are game changers in providing our students a means to success. We envision growing the program and expanding our team in order to adequately serve the returning citizen population. But we can't do it without you. We need your help. Here's what you can do for us today. Number one, connect us with someone in the Bureau of Prisons who will collaborate with us in this important effort. Number two, provide a grant of $450,000 to get Phoenix Ventures off the ground. The grant will accomplish curriculum development for entrepreneurship and high-tech training, instructors to teach curriculum and costs, initial staff salaries, implementation of infrastructure, and marketing our rollout. Help us help those incarcerated and returning to our communities rise to their full potential. Thank you.
Okay. I'm Joy Southers, founder of B-Listed Media, Inc. I'm passionate about the TV and film industry, but it has some challenges. With a degree in media and master's in organizational management, I chose to work my way up from the lowest level of production assistant to coordinator and eventually field producer. I've helped cast Netflix films and worked for international festivals like Tribeca and Hamptons. My goal was to create a case study around my own experiences. Hollywood studios have a massive diversity problem, or how I see it, a diversity opportunity. Old Hollywood has long said that diversity in media is a mythical wish list not supported by the market. In response, according to a McKinsey study, Black creatives have shifted their talents from traditional TV to streaming services. Streaming platforms are capitalizing on this trend, as theatrical releases have declined during the pandemic. Diversification in content is fueling a streaming space race, and Netflix is leading the way, boasting a 64% viewership from Black and Hispanic viewers. With hundreds of streaming services in the US and a growing shortage of content and too few agents to represent indie filmmakers, output is limited. It's time to bust open this broken system with B-Listed. B-Listed is the digital solution for global BIPOC filmmakers and content distributors. We help fuel the almost 200 streaming platforms across the US, focusing on domestic, international, and foreign language films. At its core, B-Listed is a SaaS marketplace for buying and selling content, helping indie filmmakers manage their digital properties and film rights, while allowing streaming platforms to facilitate deals and source content domestic and internationally. Our proprietary blockchain allows filmmakers to protect their IP and NFT their projects backed by an underlying smart contract on an immutable blockchain between all stakeholders, including film financiers. Once the IP is licensed, details of the IP and chain of title are recorded on the blockchain, and the blockchain automates payments to each stakeholder based on their equity, creating transparent transactions and trustworthy disbursements through our marketplace. Second, B-Listed can attach itself as an executive producer and provide agency-like representation with our entertainment attorney partners, directly negotiating film rights for a slate of more premium films curated based on their market potential. Lastly, to fuel the success of filmmakers, we'll create masterclasses with industry experts detailing the road to distribution and the use of NFTs to protect their IP. Our goals 2 years from launch are a digital IP and rights management subscription to our platform and services at $25 per month, with a projected revenue of $1.2 million. We'll receive 10% from each property licensed through the platform, with projected revenue of $1.9 million. For our educational live stream masterclass, we'll receive $75 per virtual ticket and $40 for an on-demand version, with the goal to generate $540,000. According to McKinsey, Hollywood misses out on $10 billion annually by not pursuing Black filmmakers and content. This doesn't even include Latinx or Asians. With an available serviceable market of $150 billion for global BIPOC content, we aim to capture close to 1% market share in the next 5 years. Now is the time for them to be listed, be seen, and be represented. We are a solution to the ongoing streaming race, and we'll seize a piece of the market share. Again, I'm Joy Southers, and I'm surrounded by an impressive and dedicated team that understands the challenges of BIPOC creators. Our industry mentors are producer Pharrell Williams and screenwriter Ben Ramsey, and we are backed by our growing list of industry partners whose reach span the US, Europe, Africa, and Asia. Let's make it happen. With an investment of $400,000, we can launch our MVP in 2022 and execute our marketing strategy during the film festival season. Together, we can reimagine a more diverse and new Hollywood with Be Listed. Thank you. And next we have Win Cooney of Politicking.
Sorry. Thank you. How's everybody doing tonight? Woo! Can I get a round of applause for all my wonderful cohort members? Because, you know, what we're up here doing is not easy, you know, and we've all really put our heart and soul, and these are not our businesses, these are our babies. So please be kind to mine. That being said, my name is Winkuni Siant, and I'm the CEO and co-founder of Politicking. So how many of you guys realize that, wow, this is a testament to the times we're in. How many of you guys realize that 435 seats are up for election next year in Congress? How many of you guys realize that 34 out of 100 Senate seats are up for election? The fact that not every hand is raised in this room is the exact reason why my product exists. Politicking, a social political mobile application meant to galvanize millennials to engage into politics as we know it, on not only a federal level, but on a state and local level as well. Back in 2016, when my co-founder and I, Jordan Wilson, created Politicking, it really was born of a conversation. And that conversation was the realization that although we knew lots about what was going on at the top of the election, we knew little to nothing about what was going on at the bottom of the election. And this is something that we see rampant throughout the United States. So our goal is to empower 1 million disenfranchised voters throughout the gubernatorial and congressional elections of 2022. And you guys can help. All politics are important. But most of the time, we find ourselves focusing on federal elections. We have to ask why that is. That's because that's what the media pays attention to. But really, we must ask ourselves, who is jurisdicting and mitigating the policies found in our local backyard? Who's fixing your potholes? Who's deciding where your children go to school? If you don't know the names of these people, how can you hold them accountable? And that's how politicking helps. It helps by when you put your address in, it actually populates every single person that not only represents you, but also that's up for election. Not only that, but we also provide information about amendments and referendums. And what we do is we break them out into easy to understand language, not the legalese jargon that you see appears on ballots, because quite frankly, voter literacy isn't as high as you might think it is in this country. Politicking is going to be transformative in these elections that we have coming up next year. This is a screenshot of the app doing exactly what I mentioned, showing you exactly the candidates that represent you and your interests. It informs voters. This is one of the ballot guides that we created for the NYC mayoral election this past year. And we saw for the first time a Black mayor that was elected in NYC for the first time in years. This is extremely important. And as we see the color of politics begin to change in this country, it's important that we pinpoint and identify who's representing us and how those interests are being represented on the ballot, not only on a federal level, but on a local level as well. Another thing that we did as a mayoral initiative was the Boston mayoral election, where we saw the first Asian American woman elected into office. Politicking was the first organization to host a mayoral candidate which familiarized the voters with issues that impacted them on a local level. Politicking activates voters. So many of us have heard about issues with gun control and reproductive rights. These aren't issues that are far away. They hit close to home. And it's for that reason that we have to create this sense of familiarity with local electeds. We've chosen several focus states because, quite frankly, we can't hit them all. However, I promise you, if you download Politicking today, you'll see that every single state in this country is represented. But these are the ones we want to focus on, and we have specific reasons why. As we know, Georgia has a big gubernatorial election coming up. We see people like Stacey Abrams and in Texas, Beto O'Rourke running for gubernatorial office. These are elections that can't just slip through our fingers. And while politicking is nonpartisan, it's important that we realize that we have to get people out the door to vote, no matter who they're voting for. How will we use the data that we aggregate? Because it's a lot of data that oftentimes people are fearful of being collected. What happens to this? Well, for Black and brown voters, this is actually extremely important because the data that we collect can actually inform hopefuls on how to run for office so that we can see more people like the ones in the audience being represented at a state, local, and federal level. How does politicking generate money? Well, a couple of different ways. When our friends at the NAACP or Urban League reached out to us and said, hey, can you create some ballot guides? We said, sure. And we're able to actually curate content for the people that they want to service. Not only that, but elected officials are able to contact us directly and advertise on the forum. We're able to clearly delineate between our information and elected officials' information. And so we're able to provide advertisements as well, a $10 billion industry. Our funding needs may seem big, but really what it breaks down to is $1 million for 1 million voters. It's a 1-to-1 ratio. So what we do is on-the-ground engagement, we provide UI UX updates to our application, and fundamentally, we impact the people that are sitting in this room, voters. Thank you, and come see me after this. I'm gonna hand it back over to Nicole.
Thank you, Wankuni, and thank you to all of our fellows, morning and afternoon. 19 ventures, our largest cohort ever. 30 total fellows in this 2021 Opportunity Intensive. Please give them all a hand. And as Wankuni said, there's so much that goes into this this moment, and please, we hope that you'll take the time to learn more about these ventures. If you have questions for them, if there's a way you can support, if there's something they could do or that you could do for them, find these ventures situated around the room. If you spot someone there are a bunch of folks who pitched this morning. If you wish you'd talk to them but you didn't, flag them down now. If you'd like to be connected with someone after the fact, we can all help with that. But take advantage of this networking time to get to know these ventures. They'll be at their tables. I'm going to take advantage of my spot. Right after they participate in a group photo, they'll be at their tables, and we so appreciate all of you coming out. I have one more note. All of this made possible, as you heard, by the incredible sponsors, but also by Halcyon supporters. It is that time of year, so please consider, I see you, Samantha, please consider making Halcyon a part of your thoughts this holiday season. Thank you all so much for being here. Thank you, and congratulations, Opportunity Intensive Fellows. Have a great afternoon, everyone.